Hello and welcome back to another video for Final Fantasy XIV with me, Meoni. Currently, I'm on the road visiting family, so I'll be back tomorrow, but they decided to put out the patch notes for 6.3 whilst I was away, and I honestly could not wait to get home to do this video, so I do apologize about the audio quality. But I am home soon, so don't worry about that for future videos. But yeah, patch 6.3, the preliminary notes are live. The link in the description will take you there, so you can read through these yourself at your own leisure. But let's read through what exactly is in 6.3. There's quite a lot to talk about here, so bear with me. So a lot of the stuff that isn't in patch 6.3 includes stuff like the Omega Protocol Ultimate, which should be a couple of weeks after the launch of 6.3 in 6.31. The new Deep Dungeon, Eureka Orthos, the Hildebrand Adventures, the Hildebrand weapon upgrades, the tool enhancement quests, which are the Splendorous tools, and the Leporit tribal quests are all scheduled for 6.35, so don't be confused about that either. And just a heads up for these patch notes, the planned battle changes to jobs is not listed currently in these preliminary notes. And indeed, the Paladin overhaul has not even been mentioned today. Instead, they're reserving that for the full patch notes, which should be live the day before the patch itself. So bearing that in mind, let's see what we have. So 6.3 then, full of content. The first thing they talk about is that players can now dive in Upper Lenosha. It says approaching the water will allow players to swim, and diving will also become possible once special conditions are met. This is something Yoshi P talked about before, where they're allowing for a lot of the older world areas to have diving added to them. This also includes spearfishing, I believe, as well to this area in Upper Lenosha. It's not necessarily the biggest gameplay change, but it is nice to see added to the game. The new MSQ starts, as you would imagine, in Radzat Han with Once More Unto the Void. There's actually coordinates on screen there, X 4.4, Y 9.8 with Varshan. And it appears that there is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 quests this time around. So there's quite your heavy dose of main patch goodness for storyline. So get stuck into that. One of the things they mention is that character portraits have been implemented for battle dialogue during the main scenario instanced quest battles for the 3.x patch series. It says character portraits for battle dialogue in instance quest battles released during the 2.x series will be implemented in a future update. They're really trying to put this character portrait system into pretty much every facet of the game, and I don't blame them. It's really good. The next part of Myths of the Realm, the new Alliance raid, is coming in with a new Chronicles of a New Era quest. We've got 2 images at the top there, and that starts with Return to the Phantom Realm, which begins in Mordona. So if you wanted to carry on with that quest, go over to Mordona and talk to the NPC Derek. And there seems to be, 5 quests associated with that this time. Very cool. The side story I mentioned before, the slightly hidden side quest for Tales of Newfound Adventure with the Little Blobs, that actually continues. It says Shadowed Pasts Once More. That's in Radzat Han. I believe that this side quest will have a decent reward at the end of it, so I would advise probably doing that. And you have to do that after the 6.3 main scenario quest is completed as well. So they're adding lots of interesting side quests that sort of sneak in. So there's bound to be something in the future. Speaking of side quests with great rewards this time around that people probably didn't expect, Tataru's Grand Endeavors is something that you either love or you hate. And if you have been keeping up with that, you can continue in Old Charlian with an auspicious opportunity with Tataru. We have got confirmation that there's going to be a new outfit, the tattooed sort of like kimono style yukata, or whatever you want to call that. That is a reward from this Tataru's Grand Endeavor questline. So definitely go and get stuck into that in Old Charlian. Island Sanctuary has had some updates and indeed more quests. There's a quest called A Far Eastern Yarn. which is interesting. There's not really much information about that here, but apparently Island Sanctuary's had a massive amount of updates, so lots of new buildings and things to unlock and creatures. Custom deliveries then. There is a new custom delivery client in the first. You pick this quest up from the Crystarium. It's called That's So Anden. Anden is the name of a leaf man, and I believe the quest line is to turn him back into a non-leaf man. So, yes, very cool stuff. Can't wait to get stuck into that. New Game Plus has been added more stuff to it, which includes probably the recent Void content, I believe. So that's something if people like New Game Plus. An icon will now be displayed on the map for the entrance to the following duties: Deep Dungeons of Palace of the Dead and Heaven on High. Oh, cool. They've got like little icons now. Those are nice. Forbidden Land of Eureka has new logos, as well as does Delibram, Regine, and Zadnor. Sildan, Subterrane, very cool. These are things that were missing. I suppose it makes more sense to have an icon, because if you're a new player that isn't sort of aware of where these things are, it's easier to see an icon than to do a Google search, isn't it? To be perfectly honest, it's better to have these things in the game. You'll find that with these patch notes, there's a lot of quality of life changes. When the location or destination of a quest is not in a city or the open field, a quest icon will now display on the map, indicating the path to reach it. As a result of this update, it will now be possible to reach quests in unique areas by following the quest icon on the map. Interesting. Only quests added in 6.1 through 6.3 are supported at this time. Support for quests from 6.0 and prior will be implemented in a future update. That's really cool. More ease of use, more accessibility is always a great option. The Chronicles of New Era quest, But I Hardly Know Her and The Gift of the Archmagus will no longer be available. These quests should be abandoned as they can no longer be completed. This was the repeatable weekly quest. And the other repeatable quest, if I remember, you could get like some of the Allegan, whatever it was called, one of the weapon upgrade materials for the relic weapon. The reason for this is the NPC is being reused, and they're actually removing the NPC from that place. So there we go. Additional information has been added to journal entries for the Crystalline Mean and the Studium delivery quests. Quests requiring the procurement of fish now display the fishing locations and the bait required. Wow, that's amazing. Furthermore, quests requiring collectibles now indicate the necessary collectability rating. This game is really turning into something that is miles apart from its competitors. You just have everything you need on the screen. It's fantastic. It really is. Certain quests previously classified as side quests in the journal have been further separated in the following categories: Chronicles of Light, Hildebrand side quests, Weapon Enhancement side quests, Records of Unusual Endeavors, and Side Story quests. Tribal quests previously classified as side quests have been moved to the tribal quest category, and the Wandering Minstrel quests previously classified as side quests have been moved to the more Donan side quest category. So there's lots of new categories, ways to discern what content is what. Again, more really good quality of life. Deep Dungeon quests will be classified as Records of Unusual Endeavors in a journal. Oh, that's what those are. Okay, that makes sense for them to have their own category now. Fates then. In the Fate Steel Rain, which is Odin's fate, which is normally in the Shroud if you remember, is now fixed at level 50. Adjustments will be made to compensate for an unanticipated increase in difficulty caused by value downscaling implemented in 6.0. So they're fixing him at level 50 now. Very cool stuff. Does that mean, presumably we'll be synced down properly then? Very cool. New items are available in exchange for bicolor gemstones from gemstone trader NPCs in certain areas. As predicted, there'll be more reason to get your gemstones, and probably orchestrion rolls, maybe some glamour, who knows. But I'll try and make videos on that when we find out. Treasure hunt. We have obviously new treasure hunt maps, known as the Opheo Toro skin. I think I've said that correctly. These are the new treasure maps that will always lead to Elpis. While there is a small chance for a portal to the shifting Gymnasian Aganon will appear from the discovered treasure coffers, rewards from the coffers will otherwise remain the same as those found with Cumbera skin treasure maps. So these are the new treasure maps. The shifting Gymnasian is that big circle spinny thing, spawns bosses and has a chance to throw you out. It's quite fun. Can't wait to do that. Another 8-player sort of portal dungeon. Yeah, I like this sort of content. It's the same rules as before, so we're not going to waste time reading that. They have upgraded the rewards in the Excitatron 6000, though, so the regular treasure map dungeons as well, which might mean more materials for crafted glamour pieces and things like that. Who knows? Maybe minions. Rewards for the Cumbera skin treasure maps have also been adjusted. Very cool. Can't wait to see all the new rewards. New charge symbols have been added to company crests. So if you wanted to customize your stuff with even better looking crests, they've added a few more to that. There are now 7 pages. Very nice. New craftable items have been added to the company workshop. This includes the new onsen spa outfit, outdoors walls and design for your house. We saw this briefly in the live letter. Looks fantastic. Has a working spa. Cannot recommend enough. There are new additional areas added to subaquatic voyages and new items added from those. And the maximum submersible ranks now 105 from the previous 100. Housing then, we've got a ton of new housing. Additionally, this is 1,800 more houses per server it works out. So it's wards 25 through 30 have been added to all residential districts. 6 wards with corresponding subdivisions have been added to all districts for a total of 12 new wards available per district. So all of this is on the lottery system and there's information about that. It does say the lottery period entry for these plots begins on Sunday, the 15th of January 2023 at 1500 GMT. So yeah, get bidding on those houses if you want them. Unrestricted plots have been added to housing classifications. It says when entering the lottery for an unrestricted plot, you may choose either free company or private plot classification. So you get to choose. Very cool. Furnishings from the Furnishing Design Contest have been added to the game. We have some beautiful pictures here. In fact, they have a link to the contest itself where you can see who made what. We've got like a pudding sort of cake on a table. Lovely table there. We've got the water partition, which is brand new. Can't wait to use that. Like a little bowl, like floating water thing. Very nice pool. And then outdoor stuff, we have a carriage, which looks fantastic, a little lemonade stand. And we also have his little fountain as well, which is, I like that a lot. New other furnishings have been added. We've got new window partitions inside there. As you can see, the circular partition, new chairs, new bedstands, new furniture, tables, things like that. And then the outdoor stuff, we have an otter fountain, which is very similar to the one we have in the Island Sanctuary, but obviously for your housing. Very cool stuff. It says portrait furnishings may now be previewed. You can preview portraits in shops, your inventory, and elsewhere by accessing the preview subcommand on any given portrait. So previously, when you buy a picture, for example, the Joyous Painter, you wouldn't be able to see what it looked like properly unless you went into your sizing log. Now you can just right click or use your square button or whatever you have as a subcommand button and press preview. Very cool stuff. I love that. New Orchestrion roles have been added. Can't wait for those. The following addition to Orchestrion roles, Orchestrion categories have been adjusted as followings. So they've changed things up, added more categories, put them into proper places. We've got dungeons, dungeons 2, and quests now, which is very cool. New aquarium fish. Looks like a weird manta ray with coral on its back. I don't know what that is. Very cool. New seeds for flower pots have been added. Morning glory seeds. They're nice. Then we've got Mandeville Gold Saucer. We've got the brand new airship mount, which is obtainable through using MGP. It doesn't say how much, but I would imagine, I don't know. Let's guess. Should we guess? I think it's going to be 3 million MGP. What do you think? 2 million? 2.5? The Cactuar was like, what, 2 million, 2.5? So 3 million? That's a safe bet, I would guess. Maybe I'm going to be wrong. Let's see. A new course, Self Step, has been added to the Gate Leap of Faith. So we've got the Selflands as one of the jumping puzzles now. Very cool stuff. And that's, of course, changed the way that the gate schedule works. As you can see there, we're not going to read through that. We've got new Triple Triad cards added. As usual in NPCs, usually you have new NPCs to duel against as well. And obviously from a new Trials, you can drop them and things like that. The following additions and adjustments have been made to the Island Sanctuary. We've got 2 new Sanctuary ranks have been added for a total of 12. A new Vision has been added, which is like the main quest for the Sanctuary. New gathering points have been added. Oh, that's cool. New gatherable materials. And the range from which gathering points can be accessed has been increased. The minimap can now be configured to display desired gathering points by accessing Sanctuary settings in the Isle Keeps index. That's nice, isn't it? A new Sanctuary crafting recipe has been added. A new produce has been added. Look at those, like little berries. What are those, chili peppers? Look like chili peppers. New animals have been added, showing off the griffin there. An option to collect items en masse from the produce producer and the creature comforter have been added, so you can collect all. That is like the most anticipated button, I think you'll agree. The position of change nickname in the pasture management subcommand menu has been adjusted. It's now possible to free an animal from the pasture upon capturing another when the pasture is at full capacity. So no longer do you have to, preemptively clear a spot before you go out and capture. You can just go out and capture and replace one. Lovely jubbly. A new landmark has been added. This is like a staff playground thing for the mammoths. Not really sure how else to explain that. The orchestron will now continue to play the selected song even after leaving and returning to your island, so it saves your settings. When you visit a friend's isle, players can now enjoy the tunes played from this Isle Keep Orchestron. Mount music will be prioritized over Orchestron music. New materials can be acquired from foraging expeditions. It's now possible to dispatch a foraging expedition from the expedition area by pressing the Y or triangle button on a gamepad. New Islework handicrafts have been added to the game. And each heading in the supply and demand menu can now be sorted in ascending and descending order. Time has been added as a filtering option to the supply and demand menu. Multiple conditions can be selected for filtering Islework handicrafts. The schedule of previous cycles in the current season can now be viewed in the Isleworks agenda menu. Popularity, supply, demand shift, and predicted popularity of the selected Isleworks handicraft are now displayed in the set agenda menu. That's really helpful. My goodness, this is amazing. Materials with an insufficient inventory are now displayed in red in the material allocation window. The most recently accessed tab in the material allocation window will now display upon reopening it. A new column displaying the fluctuation in a handicraft's value due to supply and demand has also been added to the earnings report. That is incredibly useful. 2 more points. The mode selected from the Isle Keeps index will now remain active until you log out of the game. Wow. A notification will now display to indicate whether a player has visited your isle. Basically, Island Sanctuary has had a massive booster. This has been beautiful. It was a great little feature before, but this is going to make it so much easier to use. All right, on to new hairstyle options have been added for Vieira. We have a couple of pictures here, the male version and the female. Lots of new hair, short and spiky, and this sort of side ponytail. We've seen those before. It's nice to see them getting updated. And that applies to Hrothgar as well, with the same sort of, I think that's the Scythe hairstyle, isn't it? On the right side. Very cool stuff. Nice to see our other races getting added to eventually. Duty support has been added to the Great Gubril Library, Etherochemical Research Facility, Anti-Tower, Sorkai, Zelfatol, and Belsa's Wall. Players can check the duty support window to view which duties will be added in future updates. A notification regarding future duty support will also be displayed when accessing the dungeon entrance. Very cool stuff. The following additions and adjustments have been made to Wondrous Tales. Now you have more things to exchange your certificates of commendation from Chloe Aliapo, the silver ones, and Chloe's bronze certificates have been adjusted. We have a corgi earring, and we have a corgi neckerchief, which looks honestly fantastic. I can't wait to farm for those. The following duties have been added to this: Pandemonium Abyssos. This is 2 Wondrous Tales, by the way. 5th through 8th circles. Lapis Manalis, which is the new dungeon. Shifting Gymnasium Aganon, which is a new treasure map dungeon. And the Clockwork Castle Town, which is the brand new Crystalline Conflict PvP map. Very cool stuff. The following additions and adjustments have been made to the Faux Hollows minigame. New items are available in exchange, and the available trial for Faux Hollows has been changed to the Containment Bay Pit 6, which is, of course, Sophia Unreal. Different Unreal trials will be available in each major patch, they say, and a message will now display after failing to earn a retelling from Faux Hollows. So nice quality of life UI updates. A new emote's been added. I'm not sure what that is. It looks like they're checking their link pearl. Means that we'll be able to do that ourselves, which is great for RP or videos or whatever you want to do, pictures. New poses have been added to the sit emote via change pose. As you can see, we have, I don't know if these are race specific, not really sure, but if you change pose, it looks like you've got like sideways sitting, crossing your arms. Yeah, interesting stuff, actually. I can't wait to try those out. We've got a new pose available for holding umbrella-type fashion accessories. Players can change their posture by performing the change pose emote. So we've got like an over-the-shoulder with the hand on hip. I don't know if that's new. I can't remember that one, actually. But yeah, that's basically where we're at. Battle system changes then. So like I said before, we're not getting any of the real combat updates, unfortunately, and we're certainly not seeing any of the Paladin overhaul stuff until the actual day before patch day. So bear that in mind. So miscellaneous adjustments to action, traits, and status effects descriptions have been made. No changes have been made to their effects, however. Icons indicating physical, magical, and unique damage will now be displayed in the battle log. This allows you to further discern what type of damage has been inflicted on you or the enemy, as you can see. The time remaining for enhancing and enfeebling effects will now be displayed on the party list. For example, if you are doing Cahexia, then you will have no problem seeing other people's timers and knowing if they're in the right place or not. Very useful stuff. Text color for recast timer in the middle of action icons when enlarged has been adjusted for certain actions. Very nice. We've got a brand new dungeon, obviously Lapis Manalis. This is obviously for level 90, requires an average item level of 590, and is part of the MSQ basically. There's a new trial as part of the MSQ as well, and that also has an extreme version. We have obviously Sophia Unreal, which is 565 item level requirement. Yeah, the usual stuff we already know about. The drop rate for the Blue Feather Lynx flute has been increased. This is a good news for people. You can also purchase this in exchange for totems at Radzat Han. So if you have 99 ultimatum tokens, you can buy yourself the Blue Feather Lynx. It also had a drop rate increase, which is really nice to see. They do this all the time. The weekly restriction on rewards in Pandemonium Abyssos has been removed. This change does not apply to the unsung Blade of Abyssos obtained in Abyssos, the 8th circle. So if you wanted to get any of the other gear from the previous tier, then go and do that. Basically, we can go and farm as much Abyssos stuff as we possibly can imagine. Again, the next tier of stuff isn't coming yet, but I'm very excited for when that does. The number of unsung blades of Abyssos required to exchange for an ultralight tomestone, which is obviously for the weapon, is now 4, down from 7. Reaper and Sage weapons are now available from coffers that appear after completing Omega Alphascape on Savage. So if you want to go and get some really cool glamour, go and do Omega Alphascape on Savage again, clear that, O12S, and give yourself a Reaper and a Sage weapon. This applies to coffers you already have as well, if you have any lying around. This is obviously in preparation for the Omega Alphascape being part of the new Ultimate. So obviously they're going to reuse those weapons, most likely. The Alliance Raid Dungeons Euthrosine has been added, which is the new Alliance Raid. 595 average item level, obviously, and you must have completed the previous one. Yeah, looks pretty good. The following adjustments, however, have been made to the previous one, Aglaia. Players will no longer be rewarded cracked Ethero clusters upon completing Aglaia. And that's pretty much all the Aglaia changes. The following adjustments have been made to deep dungeons. A next button has been added to the item appraisal window, allowing players to more easily appraise additional items. That needed to be in a long time ago. That's amazing. The deep dungeon guide interface has also been adjusted. Players can now view the deep dungeon guide via the character info window, even after entering a duty. That's really good. Sustaining potion effects duration has been increased from 15 to 30 seconds. Wow, sustaining potions have got a buff, haven't they? That's quite big. Empyrean potions effect duration has been increased to 30 seconds as well for Heaven on High. That's interesting. That changes it quite a bit, doesn't it? The items required to enhance equipment purchased with Allegan Tomestones of Causality, the Moonshine Twine and Moonshine Brine, can be purchased from the following vendors. So this is through Sacks of Nuts now. So if you wanted to upgrade your gear, you can exchange either Sacks of Nuts, or you can get the Aglaia and the new Alliance Raid coins, and you can upgrade your stuff, similar to the items that you would normally get in Savage mode. After acquiring the items to enhance your equipment from Jalakshai, Wilmetta, or Nezvaz, speak to Kaldin in Razathan and exchange them. There you go. Words are difficult, especially names. The following duties have been added to the raid finder. So question mark, and then the new Containment Bay Pit 6 Unreal. Obviously, that's the new trial next to that. The Duty Storm's Crown Extreme has been moved from a raid finder to the duty finder. Obviously, those things always get downgraded as we go through an expansion. Players will now receive the power of the Echo in the event all party members are incapacitated during the following trials: Storm's Crown and Storm's Crown Extreme. It looks like on normal, 10% Echo effect up to a maximum of 50 now, and on Extreme that's up to a maximum of 25% Echo, starting at 5%. As per usual. The strength of the Echo granted in Pandemonium Asphodelos Savage has been increased. So, from Asphodelos, we've got 20% Echo on that now. So if you wanted to ever, go back and do that Savage tier, you totally can, and it's going to be easier now. The duties listed within Duty Roulette Expert have been changed. Of course they have, with Lapis Manalis taking the place of Alzal's Legacy. It's just going to be Lapis Manalis in the Fell Court of Troya. This does have a raise of item level requirement for this, though, up to 590 from 575. So bear that in mind. The following adjustments have been made to Duty Roulette level 90 dungeons. Alzal's Legacy has been added to this instead, and the required average item level is now 560 from 540, quite a big leap. The new trial's been added to the Trial Roulette. All this usual stuff, Mentor Roulette, Stone Sky Sea, that kind of stuff. So the following adjustments have been made to the following instance dungeons. Great Google Library, Biblios can't speak. The Biblios boss battle, that's a mouthful, isn't it? 3 B's in a row has been adjusted. Who knows what that means? The ever-living Bibliotaph has also been adjusted. So all of these things have been adjusted. Etherochemical, Regular Van Hydrus, La Brea, Asian Prime. The reason that they've done this, as you can see on screen, is because the way that things work with the duty support system and the AI, they need to make it as clear and concise as possible. And, straight cut, like stand here, survive, don't stand here, die, that kind of thing. And it does affect the fights. Some of these mechanics may be redesigned completely, like we've seen in other updated old dungeons. And really, it's just to make things simple and get people through these storyline instances that were never difficult in the first place. So, it is what it is. I'll go through these when the patch is live and we'll see what's changed. The display of target indicators for certain battle mechanics has been adjusted. So again, we've got indicators, all the UI changes, things that are easier to see. Yeah, I like that. It's good. Better quality of life stuff, always an upgrade. PvP. So the limit gauge charge time will now be included in a limit break help text. Actions that increase movement speed will now include the rate of increase in their help text. Players will no longer be able to register for multiple duties simultaneously when registering for a PvP duty via the duty finder. So you only have one option. I don't like that, actually. That's a bit meh. Series 2 ends and Series 3 begins, and as you can see, we've got this beautiful looking armor set that I cannot wait to get, equipable by everybody in the game. All you have to do is do your Marmstone thing. It's probably going to be the final reward at like rank 25 or something. Cannot wait for that. It says Series 3 will be held from 6.3 until the release of 6.4, during which time you can earn series experience and increase your series level by participating in any PvP, so just as usual. It says, please note that rewards from Series 2 can only be claimed until the end of Series 3. So you can still claim that stuff if you've missed out on it, but you want to make sure that you get it done ASAP. There's also a new map, the Clockwork Castle Town, if I could speak, that's been added to Crystalline Conflict, which has spinning trick floors. It's like an underground market section of Kugane. And there's trick doors that teleport you, and these little mammoths that walk around and kill you if you stand in them. It's cool, actually. Very cool stuff. We have other information here that we could mess around with, but it's not, it's fairly self-explanatory. We have obviously the arena rotation for casual and ranked matches. This is the way that the cycle looks now. It's the Palestria, Volcanic Heart, Clockwork Castletown, Palestria, Cloud9, and Clockwork Castletown. So as you can see, what they've done is they've removed the recurrence of like the Volcanic Heart twice in one cycle, and same with Cloud9, and instead you get basically 2 cycles of a Clockwork Castletown on every cycle. So you'll see the new map more than you will the old maps, if that makes any sense, basically. To facilitate easier acquisition, medicine kits and bomb cores will be obtainable from a greater distance. That probably affects their hitbox, so you can be further away, and yeah, that'll be interesting, actually. Could be quite detrimental as well to learn that. 1 player per job settings will no longer apply to spectators of custom matches. That makes sense, in my opinion. The following additions and adjustments have been made to custom matches. A button allowing players to register for a rematch will be added to the match results screen. Oh, cool. All combatants must agree to the rematch, and no more than 5 consecutive matches can be held in this manner. So yeah, if you're doing your own private tournaments or something, that's really useful, or like player events. Player tiers will no longer be displayed with portraits or match results. Obviously, Season 4 of the ranked will end and Season 5 begins. The top 100 ranking players from each data center receive their vouchers via the Moogle delivery service at some point after the patch goes live. And they say tier rewards for Season 4 must be claimed before the end of Season 5. And there are more information on the rewards if you click the hyperlink. The number of current season will now be displayed in the following windows, both on the profile of your PvP window and the duty finder itself. Very cool. Now we have the items section. We're coming towards the end of the notes. We have the new Alliance Raid gear, which looks fantastic. I personally think there's a lot of drapes and cloaks. I like cloaks. It's a shame about the healer stuff being long white robes, but we always complain about that. They'll obviously update this section in the future with more items, because there's more than just what's here. This is just preliminary notes. We also have this recipe, which presumably is something you can make as a glamour from bits from the new treasure maps. That's my guess anyway. New glamour looks like a maid sort of outfit, sort of like I don't know what you would call that, actually. It's probably not a maid outfit. It looks very nice though. It looks like a servant's outfit to me. This is a big one though. The following items can now be equipped regardless of gender. We've got the Valention stuff, all of it. All of the Valention stuff, the Songbird stuff, that's incredible. So we can be magical girl on a male character and vice versa. And the Valentine stuff that I've always liked, that really nice jacket that was previously only male only? We can wear that as a female character now. This is really good. This is the Bergsteiger. This also includes the Dirndl's outfit as well. So the Dirndl's top, like the really nice Dirndl outfit, all of that will be equipable by the male characters, and vice versa as well. We'll get access to the Bergsteigers. I love this. This is fantastic. I think most people will be looking at the screen right now and going, yes, more gender unlocks. Definitely the way to go. Thank you, Square Enix. It says the following item names have been changed. So instead of it being called the Gentleman's Valentine Rose Chest, it's now the Dashing Valentine Rose Chest and so on. And instead of Ladies Valentine, it says Prim. So they're trying to get rid of those gender labels and make it so that things don't necessarily imply anything that they're not intended to imply, and everyone can equip things. More stuff like this. Very, very happy. Opening coffers that have been signed will now transfer said signature to all items within. This change applies to crafted sets of paladin arms such as Shinryu's ephemeral paladin arms and the Phase Crown paladin arms. Only items used in 6.3 and beyond will be affected, and signatures will not retroactively transfer to previously opened coffers or unpacked sets of paladin arms. The following items are now dyeable. We've got Chocobo Mask, Chocobo Suit, Racing Chocobo Mask, and the Fat Chocobo Head. Yay! They're all dyeable now. That's fantastic. I can't wait to see those. The following additions have been made to the glamour dresses. You can now filter your glamour dresser using this button by level, gender, or keyword. That is so useful. Basically, that's a search function in so many ways. Like, you can literally just oh my god, I cannot wait to use that. Every time this fashion report, I'm sat there for like 10 minutes trying to find the icon that I remember it looking like, where I could just type it in now. Fantastic. The search function, 10 out of 10 in my opinion. Certain items can now be sold desimped or submitted for expert delivery missions. The option to display only recently added items have been added to script exchanges and sundry splendors. Very nice. Crafted item level 610 equipment can now be exchanged for the 620 equipment, which obviously requires that Hanish certificates of grade 2 import and the Dalmic reins, similar to how they normally do that. It says on screen how to do that, but if you already know, then you already know how to do that. That's cool. 620 crafted gear. NPC vendors that deal in items obtained from duties will now appear according to player progression. Oh, that's cool. So they won't be there until you've progressed enough. That's good. New items have been added to the inventory of Calamity salvages. That's always nice to see. So that if you delete something, you can get it back. Players can now speak with Anden to complete custom deliveries, which is, of course, the Leafman. We showed this, that so Anden quest, it starts in a Crystarium. A total of 12 custom deliveries can be made each week, so make sure you do those when you log on. The following additions and adjustments have been made to custom deliveries. The requirement for bonus deliveries unlocked at maximum satisfaction has been adjusted. In the event that maximum satisfaction has been achieved with all custom delivery NPCs, bonus deliveries for each category, crafted items, gathering items, and fish, are guaranteed to appear for 2 or more NPCs. Wow, that's interesting. I like that. The display location subcommand has been added to deliverable fish. That is so good. That is so good. Rather than going into the fish guide and trying, that's brilliant. Information regarding preferred bait has been added to the dialogue option procuring collectibles as well. Very nice. They really are working hard, aren't they, to quality of life upgrade this game. The names of certain categories under special recipes in the crafting log have been adjusted. Now it says instead of story and Ishgard restoration, it's class and side story as a classification. Makes more sense. The animation for trained finesse has been changed. The following actions have been classified as gatherer role actions and may be used by all gathering classes once learned. This includes Prospect, Lay of the Land 1 and 2, Truth of the Mountains, Triangulate, Arbor Call 1 and 2, Truth of the Forest, Fathom, Shark Eye 1 and 2, and Truth of the Oceans. It says while the classification of these actions has been changed, functionality and hotbar placement will remain unaffected. Actions have neither been added or removed. Does this mean you could place them on your bar and it'll just change depending on what job you are? What class you are? I'm not sure. I need to look at that more. The category Ishgard Restoration in the Gathering log has been changed to side quests. New Miner and Botanist gathering points have been added to the game and new items have been added to those points. Miners and Botanists will be unable to attempt to obtain items with a gathering rate of 0%. Makes sense. Gathering attempt and integrity bonuses have been added to certain legendary nodes. Collectability values will now be displayed for reference when you gather, and these values may prove useful, they say, to reference when procuring collectibles for appraisers or custom delivery NPCs, or when attempting to gain items other than crystals from ethereal reduction. That's nice. New fish have been added, new teeming waters. The following additions and adjustments have been made to the fish guide. It says the number of fish displayed per page is now 100 instead of 25. That's huge. There is a lot of fish in this game. Entries will now display their prime locations. Entries for fish that have been caught before will now display their preferred bait. That's amazing. Entries for fish that have been caught via spearfishing will now display their silhouette size, i.e. small, medium, or large. Weather restrictions, time restrictions, and special conditions are also displayed under additional information. A text search feature has been added, and filters have been added, so you can filter things out via regional folklore and region. Total successful fishing endeavors and fish caught will now be displayed in the records. Records for spearfishing can now be sorted via region. Basically, say goodbye to looking up, a Wikipedia-style page of how to do fishing, because it's all in front of you now. That's so good. The item level cap for desynth now 620 from 610. That's nice. New mounts have been added. Obviously, we haven't featured them all here, but there is a picture of the Laporit Tribe reward, which is the pink elephant, which I believe is called Pinky. New chocobo barding has been added to the game. New minions. Of course, we've got a corgi represented here, but there's lots of minions. New fashion accessories have been added. Look at this. This is a parasol that looks like the Island Helper, like with the cat ears. That is fantastic. That has to be from Island Sanctuary. I love it. This is a good one. Umbrella-style accessories can now be used automatically depending on location and weather conditions. So what happens in these applicable areas, which is large settlements, residential districts, deferment, and island sanctuaries, every time it rains, your character, if you choose it on the Enable Auto Umbrella on the Fashion Accessories window, pulls out her parasol automatically when it rains and places it away when it stops raining. Isn't that fantastic? That is like an RP dream. So yeah, large settlements, residential districts. So you're walking around Limsa, it starts to rain, you've got your preferred accessory, your character pulls it out. That's brilliant. I can't wait to see people do that. That's so nice. It is now possible to converse with NPCs, craft, or engage in other activities while using fashion accessories. Accessories will not be displayed during certain activities, but will automatically be displayed once more upon completing the activity. So the more things they incorporate fashion accessories to, I think the better. And this is a good step forward, even though it's not, accessories in combat like I personally would love. When using the data center travel system, if you are still in another data center after 30 days, you will automatically be returned to your home world the next time you log in. Depending on the timing of your last logout, you may be returned after more than 30 days have passed. Oh, interesting. The following additions and adjustments have been made to retainers. So now we have the cast glamour and dye items option has been added to the retainer menu. These options can now be applied to items equipped by the summoned retainer or held in their inventory. Player characters must have the appropriate glamour and prisms and dispellers or dyes in their inventory to use the options. The try on retainer subcommand has been added to items. This will display the selected gear on a currently summoned retainer. The entrust duplicates function has been added. The entrust duplicates button will automatically search for items in your inventory that can be stacked with those already in your retainer's possession. Applicable items will be listed in a confirmation window from which you can then deselect those items you don't wish to move at this time and entrust the remainder in bulk. Elemental shards, crystals, and clusters are not included in the duplicate searches. This is a fantastic way of just clearing out your inventory and, not really needing to know where things are. It puts them in there. Fantastic. A specific error message will be displayed when failing to withdraw a unique item due to the same item being present in the character's inventory. New items can now be obtained from quick exploration ventures. New retainer exploration ventures have been added. Very cool stuff with retainers. Very nice. The following additions and adjustments have been made to achievements and titles. So there are new achievements and titles added, obviously. Certain achievements previously included the general quest category have been moved to the main scenario and the job role quest categories. Certain duties will now count towards the completion of achievements. Furthermore, Sophia Unreal is Containment 7 Unreal is no longer required. That's Sephiroth, isn't it? Interesting. So those are the updated tank queue achievements. The Ethernet map will now display when accessing an Ethernet shard in the firmament. I didn't realize it didn't before. Interesting. In order to prevent server congestion immediately after the release of 6.3, we'll be implementing multiple field instances for Garlemald. This means that Garlemald will be featured heavily, probably because of Lapis Manalis as well, featuring in there. It looks like a snowy place, right? So it was a safe bet that Garlemald would get this. We'll monitor server activity and remove this feature when the congestion is determined to be no longer an issue. Of course, though, just a point here, if you're a hunt aficionado, this is a great opportunity to make use of those instances with hunt trains and go around doing A ranks, especially considering the sacks of nuts are going to be used for the upgrade materials for your gear as well. Very cool idea. The division of Ultima Full into multiple instances added to alleviate congestion in 6.25 is being removed. So Ultima Full is losing its instancing and Garlemald is gaining it. Alliances formed via Party Finder will now be able to use Party Chat before entering duty. New dungeons are available for Explorer mode. Oh, excellent. So we've got Sestasha, Copperbell Mines, Thousand Moors of Totorok, Breakflux, Longstop, Cutter's Cry, Desmal, Darkhold, Wanderer's Palace, the Praetorium. Oh, wow, really? Lapis Manalis, Tamtara Deepcroft, Hulatali, Hawk Manor, Sunken Temple of Khan, Stone Vigil, Aurum Vale, Castrum Meriadenum, and Amdapor Keep. So we can go around and just have no NPCs around and take pictures without any care in the world, and probably mount up as well, like in normal Explorer mode. Very cool stuff. The duties that have been that can be recorded have changed. The duty record function is still sorely underused, and they really, really could make more with it. A bunch of content creators have mentioned this over the last couple of years. It's such a missed opportunity. It really is. The following changes have been made to group posts. So there are new stickers, as you can see, loads of stickers, Island Sanctuary related ones. New frames have been added. Specific RGB values 0 to 255 can now be adjusted using the sliders in the lighting settings. Data center name will now be displayed when display homeworld is selected in sticker mode. Very cool stuff. The following additions and adjustments have been made to adventurer plates. New accents have been added. Additional playstyle options have been added. So if you're more of a person who does VNC dungeons, you can put that logo. Dome and Mahjong, you can put a Mahjong tile. Island Sanctuary, if all you do is Island Sanctuary, you can put that on your adventurer plate, which I'm sure a few of my friends will do that. Achievements, there's not that many achievements to hunt really in this game. The following additions and adjustments have been made to portraits. So new accents, new poses have been added. The default background for portraits will now be ether color rather than solid gray, which is blue. The import setting from Adventurer Plate Subcommand has been added to the Portraits window. This is a big one because previously you couldn't import stuff you'd made in the in one menu into the other. So when you were doing your Adventurer Plate, you couldn't access the Portrait window that you'd set up. Very stupid that was, but at least now we can actually do it. That's good. Apply to Adventurer Plate Subcommand has been added to the Portrait window, which is what we were saying is even easier to use. Camera control settings applied via the character configuration window will now be reflected when adjusting character positioning in the Edit Portrait interface. A warning icon will now appear if a portrait currently being edited does not fulfill necessary requirements. For example, if a character's expression is not in frame. Is this to prevent some of the meme stuff? Presumably. Party members' instant portraits now displays at the start of the following duties: Dungeons, Guild Hest, Trials, Raid Dungeons, Alliance Raid Dungeons, Deep Dungeons, and Variant and Criterion Dungeons. Only the 8 portraits belonging to immediate party members will be visible during Alliance raids. So now if we do dungeons, you'll see portraits. So bear that in mind if you've got lewd ones, to probably change those. There are some people who go around reporting that stuff. Once a certain amount of time has passed or a battle has begun, party members' portraits will be hidden. Portraits will be redisplayed at any time during the duty by opening duty information and selecting Display Party Member Portraits from the Functions tab. Cool. You can also toggle this on and off in the UI settings menu in character config, show party member. So you don't have to have this on if you don't want, but it's default always on, so they will see your portrait. It's now possible to display party members' instant portraits in the player commendation window. So if you're trying to decide who to give a comm to, it makes it easier, right? So no longer do you have to just go for whoever's got a cool name. Now you can be like, that's a funny portrait, or lewd. Here you go. Here's my comm. And that's how it will work. You know it will work that way. So better dress accordingly. The following additions and adjustments have been made to the UI themes. So the clear blue theme's been added. I quite like this one. I might go through it. It's got this really nice sort of blue, modern sort of, looks almost Final Fantasy 15 kind of like, or Final Fantasy, modern stuff. I like that. Nice blue theme. The theme previously named Classic has been renamed to Classic FF. Don't know why, but whatever. Here's a big one. The number of Waymark save slots has been increased from 5 to 30. So if you want to actually save the entire tier's worth of Waymarks, you don't have to worry about going, which one of us has saved this one and which player saved this one, because that's how we currently do it in our Savage team. So that's good. I like that. More access. 30 slots is huge. Current Gil is now displayed in your inventory. Pull down menus in the currency setting window will now display each currency's icon alongside its name. After selecting an item for Grand Company Expert Delivery, the list will automatically adjust upon redisplay so that items before and after the delivered item are visible. That's awesome. A button to reset the order of crossword linked shells channels has been added. In accordance with this, the provisional method of performing this function implemented in 6.25//reset settings CWLS will be removed. Oh, okay. I didn't know that was a thing. Display toggles for system UI elements, hotbars, and duty UI elements have been added to the HUD layout window, so all can be adjusted in tandem. Wow. That's useful. So you can just toggle everything off or not. Automatic camera pivot can now be disabled when legacy type movement is enabled, allowing for seamless play with a camera at any angle. That's cool. I can't wait to try that. Apply this setting by going to the control settings in the character configuration menu and selecting disable camera pivot. Ooh. Options to disable the right-click targeting of certain types of targets has been added. It says disable right-click selection of player characters. Oh, interesting. So you can click through. Oh. Disable the right-click selection of minions. So if you're getting annoyed with like accidentally right-clicking on people or things instead of like, for example, interacting with an objective, then instead of holding down X, which is what most PC players do to click through everything, you can just disable it straight off. That's interesting. The following options have been added to the system config menu. We have the general tab, mouse tab. Oh, I see. So they've basically made things a lot easier to find. General tab, party list tab. Very cool. System configuration menu gets clear blue theme. The date of the latest revision has been added to the cast credits. Oh, nice. The following additions and adjustments have been made to text commands. So we've got /linkpearl, which is that emote we saw earlier. So it is /linkpearl. Very cool. /rclickPC, which is the set right-click selection. That applies for NPCs and minions as well. And the total slots that can be specified with the save and preset subcommands of the Waymark text command have been increased from 5 to 30. So obviously you can do a text command for that as well. New auto-translation dictionary stuff. PlayStation 4 and PlayStation 5 auto-complete dictionary upgrades. New trophies for PS5. Let's see. New music, sound effects, and voices been added. Can't wait to hear the new music. Soken's a legend, so it's going to be amazing. Retrieve character data has been added to the subcommand menu for the character selection screen. This command retrieves the data necessary for editing a character's appearance or name, even when the default display of a character information has been simplified due to server congestion. Oh, that's cool. So it loads it from its cache, basically. I like that. Return to Homeworld has been added to the subcommand menu for the character selection screen. This command returns a character currently visiting another world via the world visit or data center system to their homeworld without the need to log in. In accordance with this, the Return to Home data center subcommand has been removed. And that currently is it for the preliminary notes for patch 6.3. It is a monster of a patch, an absolute behemoth, and I just thought we'd read through it all because that's what we usually do. There's no way of making this any smaller, as you can probably imagine. If you're on the go, you wanted to know all of this information, hopefully this helped. Of course, 6.3 we'll have more notes associated with it. We'll probably end up doing a battle system changes update patch note video on its own as soon as that's available, because there's a lot of changes coming to jobs in the game, and Paladin is getting significantly changed. But anyway, I'm over the moon with how many quality of life changes are coming with that. Let me know what you thought about this. Again, I can't wait to be home in front of my usual setup and normal mic, so apologies for that. But yeah, let me know what you think. Much love, and I'll see you all next time. Bye-bye.